This is the next Love2d tutorial, and if you're wondering why I haven't made any for quite a while, it's probably because the last few times I tried to make a video, it didn't work. It just went over the 4 GB limit, because Windows for some reason still uses a 32-bit file system, and it corrupted, and everything went to absolute crap. So hopefully this time it works. We did quite a lot in the last episode. We implemented shooting, so we can shoot bullets in any which way we desire, and I've commented out the bits which I added in the last episode. So first of all, we're going to add this function called shoot, and this one called, we know what key presses. So first of all, when we press K, when K equals space, so when you press spacebar, it calls the shoot function. And this is something a bit different. We're declaring this table called shot. So when we shoot, we are making a shot, pretty much. And when we make a shot, we have to declare some variables. So first of all is bx, which is equal to px plus 13. So it's about halfway between, it's about the bullet being 4 width and 4 height. That's what BW and BH is. So if you half that and take it away from the player's size, you get 13. So it's in the dead center of where the player is when it starts. And same with PY, so it's in the very center of the player. So then we're declaring a shot. So this shot is just a table. And then now we're using the function table.insert to insert the shot to this up here, which is shots. Shots is another table which holds all the shot, which pretty much calls the shots, I suppose we should say. And this shot is now being inserted into shots. This shot is being inserted into shots. Maybe easier if I check different names, but that's your choice. So now we have our shots, because we've shot and created a shot. Now we want to display the shot on the screen, which is what this function does. Well, not really function, but area. So what we're doing is creating a for loop with I being the index and V being the value in I pairs, which means it will scroll through. I pairs means it will scroll through a table, which is in the parentheses. So shots is our desired table to scroll through. And when it scrolls through shots, it first of all does love.graphics.setColor to 000, which is making the shot black. Then we are drawing the shots, and what we're doing is using V, which is the value. So our value at the moment is shot, because that's what we're scrolling through in the shots table. And our value for v.bx, if we remember back here, bx is our x position for the bullet. So our v.bx is just declaring what the shot being scrolled through, which is our v. So v.bx is the position of the current bullet. v.by is that y position of that current bullet. And then our for we could just use v. B, W, and BH, but it's just easier. We just leave those loads pointless, basically. So what we're doing here is that we're making the bullets go down, because v.bx, if we remember, is our x position of the bullet. Actually, we're making them go right. Silly me. So v.bx is making our bullets go right, so adding 4 to v.bx. And as our bullets go right, which they are, that's basically how it works. So the bullets are going right when we call the shot. So we're creating a shot, and when all the time it will scroll through the shots table, and every time it finds a shot, it makes a shot. So it's always printing the shot. And well, we can also add some extra things. Let's say a collision. So if we check, for instance, maybe if we check the collision with the bullet and the the wall. So we can do if check collision, and our things are going to be well, first of all, I think we're going to have to scroll through our function so we know, so the program knows what it needs to scroll through. So like we did up here, it's going to be for I, v, index and value, in I pairs, inside the brackets we're going to declare what the table we're going to be scrolling through is, like it's spelled check collision correctly, might help. And in I pairs, it's going to scroll through the table shots, and then if we end this one, okay, so we're going to check the collision between v.bx, so bullet x, v.by, and v.b w, v.b h. There are our first four arguments, so there are our positions for the bullet, and unfortunately we're going to make quite a lot of these, so we're going to check if it collides with every wall. So next of all we're going, that even makes sense, next of all, I suppose it does, our wall we're going to check collision. So we're just going to copy it from here to save time. So this is our left wall, and we're going to do the same thing up to here, copy that into here. Now we're just going to add the right wall and all of its special features. And our then, because I always forget those, because you don't normally often use them in other languages. So, okay, so check collision, v.bx, and now we declared where we want to check the collision. So when we finally do check the collision, we want to table.remove. Table.remove pretty much removes something from a table. So when we're removing, we want to remove from the table shots, and we want to remove the index I. So I is our index, basically the number. So imagine shots as a big table, because that's technically what it's called. So imagine it as like a big line of boxes next to each other. Each box has its own number, which is its index. So let's say the first box is 1, because in Lua, or in tables in Lua, the first box is always numbered 1. So, and then 1, 2, 3. So every time it removes a bullet, it basically deleting the bullet from the screen when it touches the wall. So enough of that. This is just going to delete the bullet when it touches the wall. Now we're going to copy here and then put that there. Save it. So now what we have is when it collides with the wall, it will delete the bullet. Let's try it out. If I could actually remember how. Well, that would be a bit of a glitch thing. No bother. So if I go. It is. And. Right, open that, and now copy the main.lua into that. Okay, so run the game. Whoops. What have you got to do? Where did you forget to do? Whoops, I put then. One thing you should remember is when you're doing a for loop, it needs a do, not a then. I always make mistakes. Whoops. Let's go now. Okay. Now let's run the game. Here we go. So now we're moving from left to right. I can't go through the walls as we did last time. Now you press space, shoot a really fast bullet in that general direction. And you also may notice that when it hits the wall, it just dies. And it's not just that the wall's being painted over the bullet, because otherwise the bullet will eventually, there'll be so many bullets on the screen, you just won't know what to do. So when we get rid of the bullet and actually delete it when it goes off the screen, it's happier in general. But you can also make it so you can make a variable if you want here to make the bullet go left. So maybe under the X you can have the direction of the bullet, and instead of +4 it will be -4, so you're going left. And if you want to make a dual stick shooter, you can also make it on BY plus and -4 for if you want to make a dual stick shooter. And enemies, if you want to make enemies, they work in the same way pretty much. They're exactly the same as bullets in that respect. Only you can make a new table called enemies, which is going to pretty much declare all the enemies. And instead of a shot, it'll be an enemy. They just may need a few extra things. And in the same way, it will just move around, although AI may be quite difficult. So this tutorial was dedicated to making shots and bullets, and pretty much enemies as well. If you don't want to use just a square, you can add your own picture, or make a circle, which with the Love2d graphics.circle. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.